In this example, we're going to explore another word problem involving systems of equations. So let's get started. Here we are told that we have 500 gallons of 89% octane gasoline, and this 89% octane gasoline is obtained by mixing 87% octane gasoline with 92% octane gasoline. So we have two different types of gasoline here. We have one type which is 87% octane content, and the other is 92% octane content. And then the question is, how much of each type of these two gasolines is required to get you this 89% mixture, okay? So sometimes when I'm reading a problem, if the wording of it is maybe unclear, I'll just kind of reword it a little bit on my own under the solution. So basically what we're saying is we have two types of gasoline. Okay, these two types are going to be, let's say, 87% octane content and 92% octane content. And then what we want is 500 gallons of gasoline that has 89% octane content. So the question is, how do we mix these two types of gasolines that we have together such that we get 500 gallons of this mixture that has 89% octane content? So similar to our previous example, what I do is we define our variables very explicitly. So we're going to say, let X be the quantity of the 87% octane gasoline, and then we're going to say let Y be the quantity of the 92% octane gasoline. Okay, so we've defined our variables. Okay, now how do we set up a relationship? Well, we're gonna say that, again, we're dealing with some percentages here. So we're gonna say 0.87, that's the 87%, times X plus 0.92 times Y equals what? So we're saying the X is the quantity of the 87% octane gasoline. So we say 87% times X, that's a quantity in gallons. And then Y is the quantity of the 92% gasoline. So we say plus 0.92 times Y. But what should that equal? Should that equal 500? No, it should equal 0.89 times 500 gallons. Because remember, ultimately, we're mixing gasoline. We're mixing this gasoline that has 87% octane with this other gasoline that has 92% octane, and we're getting a total of 500 gallons that has 89% octane. So what I can do is maybe color coordinate this. So remember, X and Y are quantities in gallons, and they correspond ultimately with a total of 500 gallons. And then these percentages, we're mixing, 87% of X with 92% of Y to get 89% of 500. So that's one equation right there, okay? Now, we need a second equation, right? Because this is just one equation with two variables, so we need a second one. What do you think a second one is? Maybe pause the video and think about it, but I'll go ahead and tell you. The second equation we need is going to be X plus Y equals 500 gallons. Now, why does that make sense? Well, again, you've got two quantities of interest. The quantity of the 87% octane gas and then the quantity of the 92% octane gas, and that's X and Y respectively. And so the total quantity, again, these are gallons, X plus Y should end up being 500 gallons. So here's your system right here, okay? Now, you can solve this system a variety of ways. It's two equations with two variables. I would say probably the most convenient is substitution, but you can use matrices or elimination, whatever you want to use, okay? So let's go ahead and write this out. 0.87x plus 0.92y equals, and I'm going to go ahead and multiply out 0.89 times 500 is 445 gallons. And then, of course, the second equation is still x plus y equals 500 gallons. And again, it's a simple two equations, two unknowns, so maybe substitution is more convenient. So how about we label these, maybe call this one equation 1 and equation 2. And I'm going to say from equation 2, what can we say? We can say x equals 500 gallons minus y, and then we can substitute into equation 1, and then what do we end up with? We'll say 0.87 times 500 gallons minus y plus 0.92 y equals 445 gallons, okay? So we can do some multiplication here. Let's see, 0.87 times 500 is, we get 435 gallons minus 0.87y plus 0.92y equals 445 gallons. And then at this point, we can pretty easily combine some things. And so we'll get 0.05y equals, what's 445 minus 435? Well, that's just 10 gallons. And so what does y end up being? 10 divided by 0.05 is 200 gallons. And that's one of our answers. And now we need to get the quantity X, which is the volume of the other type of gasoline. And so we can then return back to, either equation, but maybe here we go. This is a convenient form. Use this version of equation 2. So we'll say X equals 500 gallons minus 200 gallons equals 300 gallons. So our summary would be the quantity of 87% octane gas required is 300 gallons, and the quantity of 92% octane gas required is 200 gallons. And this is what you would box in with a straight edge, and that would be the conclusion of this example.